because I hear from a lot of people that therapy is for rich white people. And two, I heard people say that if I'm going to go to therapy, it needs to be a black therapist.
Sure, I get that. I get that you want to speak to someone who has your experience, but no experience is truly that different. Like, there's no reason to suffer. There's so many ways to get help.
Pain is overrated.
Yes. It truly is.
It's over. Look, and I'm sorry.
No, it's overrated and it's real.
Right.
We have a responsibility to take care of ourselves by learning who we are. Our society has not given us those tools up until now.
Now, what she said was so on point, because what is needed is the truth. And for these single women to know who they are. Because a lot comes with knowing who you are. See, you just can't be an individual in this world. You just can't be a phenomenon, a special person that's different from everybody in the world. You are somebody, and you're connected to a whole history of somebody's. And those people is going to make you, or those people made you who you are. You inherited a lot from your heritage. And those words are similar because it takes you back to the root. You inherited things from your heritage. Your heritage is your bloodline. And your blood is the evidence of your heritage, because you take blood tests to see who your father is, who your mother is, DNA tests, and the history of these individuals. Your family tells you who you are. We come from Mississippi. Our mother used to do this, and our father used to do that, and our grandfather used to do this, and our grandfather used to do that. The mother tells the child, your daddy used to do that. He would always do that. The same thing you're doing. Your mother used to do the same thing you're doing. Or my mother used to do exactly what you're doing. My mother used to do that same thing. Because you inherit things from your heritage. That's who you are. And so these women don't understand who they are, and they're trying to live in a society that's not telling them who they are, like the lady said. And they're living in a society that's ran by people that's against them and don't have their best interests at heart. See, that will use them for their benefit. You see, that will pretty much be like a pimp to them. Give them just what they want. Give them some kind of attractive thing so they can be connected to them and they can use them. He say, oh, I'll protect you. We can make money together. And then she goes out and she brings him back money. Now he's benefiting from what she's doing. She's benefiting what he said he was going to bring to the table, what he made look attractive, but he's doing the benefiting, and he don't have her best interest at heart. He don't care that she's out there prostituting herself. He don't care that she's out there being a whore in the streets. selling her body for money. He don't care about all that. You see, but he's offering his protection. He's offering to help her get to this money. And see, that's what this society do to these women that don't know their heritage. They don't know who they are. They don't know how they should be conducting themselves. And so that's why this society, it tries to wipe away the heritage of people, because the focus is on the single black women. That's what the focus is on. They're just like those women that was in Egypt. The focus was on those single black women. And the handmaids, they had to make sure that if a boy child come out of these single black women, we want you to destroy this boy child. The girl child, you can let them survive and keep them around. See, they didn't want to destroy the girls, the women physically, but they wanted to keep them around so they can put them to work, and they can, if they had a boy child, we want to get rid of the boy child. Because see, the girl child, we can reproduce our seeds with her. We can use her for reproduction purposes, for labor purposes. But this boy child, he's going to establish an army that's going to fight against us. And we don't want him to fight against us. He's going to establish a nation that's going to fight against us. And we don't want that. So these women don't understand who they are. You see, that is the truth. That is the foundation of the truth. Now, when it comes to relationships, it is the adversary to these women, the enemy to these women, the one that's trying to deceive them and tell them that their heritage, who they come from, don't matter, or that their heritage started in the 1500s or 1619, or their heritage is something that's so diluted that they don't need to even try to find it out. When it's a clear path to finding it out. It's not hard. It's not difficult. The evidence is clear. You can trace the steps and trace the history and find out your heritage and who you are. The men of your same exact nation, they're telling you who you are, but you rather trust the adversary to your peoples, the enemy to your peoples, the deceivers to your peoples. Now, one major thing that this enemy is presenting is feminism. Feminism is something that they're preaching. It's almost like atheism, being an atheist. See, be an atheist. Do whatever you want to do in this world. Live how you want to live. Chase your happiness. Chase your desires and your feelings. See, that's what they tell our women. And our women don't understand who they are, and they just go with this attractive philosophy. See, sleep with anybody who you want to sleep with. Sleep with multiple men and live a life of pleasure. Let these men buy you all of these things. If one man don't want to buy you something, go to the next man and he'll buy you something. Keep searching for these men that's buying you stuff. Get multiple men and let them buy you things, get you pregnant, and have to pay you money from 6 different directions. Live off the money that these men have to pay when they get you pregnant to the government. Don't worry about God and living by the rules that God set for you. Come to our church. We believe that you don't have to follow God's laws. You can just do whatever you want to do. He's going to love you anyway. See, this is what the enemy present to our people. And see, they don't understand who they are. That's the whole problem. That's where everything come into play. Now let me give them the foundation. This is the foundation, and I want them to see it for themselves. Now, when you read the Bible, it tells you in Hosea 4:6, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will reject thee, and thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God, I will also reject thy children. You see, the law of God, and they reject the law of God, when they go with so-called Christianity, that their slave master and their adversary, their enemy, have presented to them, the greatest deceiver and liar in the world, when they go with these lies of this nation that has brought them here in chains, that's when they are destroyed. Okay? Because these individuals set up this feminist movement when the so-called blacks and the so-called Hispanics was marching for their rights, for their so-called equal rights, or for some money, so they can come out of living a poverty-stricken lifestyle. But not knowing who you are, these individuals would look at it like something happened that was good. And so what they did was they set up this feminist movement situation. They told their women to go out and get with these women, these so-called black women, get with them and tell them that abortion is good. Abortion is their right. It's their body. They can kill any child that they want. Forget God's law of thou shalt not murder and thou shalt not kill. See, forget God's law. If you run into a baby or a pregnant woman and kill that child, you have to be put to death because you killed the child that was in the stomach. That's a life in that stomach. And that life has value to it. And if you tamper with it while it's in that stomach, that you're going to have to be put to death. See, their enemy told them, don't worry about that. We'll take that child out of the way. We'll kill that child. And you don't have to worry about paying money and supporting this child. You don't have to worry about your having stretch marks and your body changing. And so this is what the women went with. Not only that, they went with this so-called leading the household, being equal to the men. Now, this is how you find out who these women are. When you go into Isaiah, let's get chapter 3 and 12. The prophecy says, as for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. Why was women going to rule over his people? Why was women going to rule over his people? And why was the children going to be oppressors? Why was the children going to be oppressors, and why was women going to rule over them? Because these women was going to be single. They was going to be single women. Because look at here, when you go into the punishments of his nation, He said, if y'all don't follow my laws, this is what's going to happen to you. Let's get all three of these to show this is how these women are, why these women are single. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil towards his brother and towards the wife of his bosom and towards the remnant of his children which he shall leave. So the man is not going to be staying around these women. They're going to leave these women. They're going to get pregnant and he's going to leave. They're going to be single baby mamas. See, and even if she's not pregnant, it say the wife of his bosom. See that he's gonna leave. He's not gonna be with them. But why is he gonna leave? Why is he not gonna cleave to his wife? 55. So that he will not give to any of them of the flesh of his children, whom he shall eat, because he has nothing left him in the siege. And so this is the whole reason why these men are not going to be with these women. This is why the focus is on how much money do he have? Do he have any money? Can he support me? Is it a high value man? I need a man with some money. See, because she do need a man with some money. He do have to support her. He say, but he's don't have nothing left. When the enemy done came in, the rulers of this society, and set up a situation where he ain't gonna be able to support his woman. He's not gonna be able to support a household because they are under siege by a nation. He say, the tender and delicate women among you, which would not have ventured to set the sole of her feet upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness, her eye shall be evil toward her husband of her bosom, and toward her son and toward her daughter, because she also wasn't raised by a father. She also wasn't raised to follow the laws of God. So now she is gonna be following the enemies that besiege this man, because they're gonna have money. They're not gonna be not having nothing. They're gonna have something. When you go up, they're gonna this nation that's doing this to making these people have nothing, sieging them. Look at the 44. It say, he shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. Verse 43, it say, the stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. See, the man is going to come down very low because he is being besieged, taken captive by his enemies. 49, the Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far. Okay, the Lord brought this nation. Since you don't want to live by his laws and follow his commands, I'm going to bring this nation. Your enemy is going to come and rule over you. Verse 50, a nation of fierce consonants which shall not regard the person of old, nor show favor to the young. See, they're not going to do things for your best interest. They're going to use you. They're going to use you like cattle. See, that's what he's going to do. And the interest is going to be for him, not going to be for you. And so this is why these women are single.
I get that.
And so, pretty much, these women don't understand who they are. They think that they are so-called black women, which they're not black. Nobody is a color. See, nobody is a color. That's just ignorance. Everybody have a heritage. Everybody come from a bloodline of people. And every bloodline of people that's on the face of the earth is written in the Holy Scriptures, the Hebrew Scriptures. From Genesis 10, the table of nations, the Lord made sure he put every nation in that book and told what was going to happen from the beginning to the end. From the beginning to the end of every nation. So there's no excuse for these black women to be destroyed and not know who they are. Now, let's get another situation. Let's go here. Let's get another situation. Exodus. Okay. I want to get another situation. Okay, we're going to do it like this. Okay, now, Exodus 21:10, it said, if he take him another wife, her food, her raiment, meaning her clothes, and her duty of marriage shall he not diminish. And if he do not these three unto her, then shall she go out free without money. Now, this is the law of God. This is why these women are destroyed. This is why these women are going to pretty much die single, and they're going to die here in America. This is going to be the reason, because they're going to go with the unlawful teachings of the so-called white man in this society of America, Babylon the Great. This is going to be the reason, because this is what's going to happen in the near future. Isaiah 4:1. It says, and in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel, and let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. See, if you see, the reason you know this is going to be before the destruction of Babylon, because it say to take away our reproach. The reproach is the take away that we didn't want to follow God's laws up to this point. And if that sky crack and Yahweh shall come, who the ignorant call Jesus Christ, if he come, he's going to punish me for my reproach. But if I can cleave unto you, man of the Lord, if I can cleave to you, then I can get my reproach taken away from me. That's why Paul say, if you have an unbelieving wife, is she gonna not be saved by you? By her cleaving to you, knowing who you are, and your children, won't they all be clean? Because this is going to get to the point. Who is you following? Who is you with? What man do you have? Now, that's one thing that they all right about. What kind of man? See, you need a man of the Lord that can take away your reproach, that's going to lead you in the ways of righteousness and have you following the laws of God. And following the laws of God is going to set a hedge of protection around you and your family. But see, this is the truth that these women has to know. If they don't know this truth, if they don't accept this truth, they're going to be destroyed. Just like Hosea 4:6 says, that this is about heritage. This life that we're living is about heritage, your family, your nation. This so-called dream of America is a lie from the so-called white man. See, he had a history in his heritage. In all of the kingdoms that they set up, they wanted to bring all nations together, like Nimrod in the Tower of Babel. That's why the Jamaicans and the island peoples call them Babylon, because they love to lie, they cause confusion, and they want to bring everybody together, just like Babylon. And so this is who our women is following. If they're following the blind enemy, he's blind because the Lord won't let him receive the truth or even deal with the truth. He loves to lie. That's his greatest thing that he likes to do. But our women following him, and they're being blind by following him. And that's why if the blind lead the blind, they both shall fall into a ditch. And that's why the majority of these women are single and destroyed. They don't know who they are. They despise the law of God. They despise that they're going to have to share a man. And people tiptoeing around the truth. They scared to even tell them the truth. They don't want to even tell them the truth, because they're so much indoctrinated into the lies of their enemies, because he know how to make it sound good. He promotes it on every angle, on every corner, because he is in control of the society. And he raised them on that teaching. He taught them that their whole lives. So when it's presented that you're going to have to share a man, God made this world for women to share men. Women are the majority. Women has always been the majority. See? The men are not the majority. 7 women is 7-1. It's 7 women to 1 man right here now in the United States of America. Especially concerning the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, who are one nation. They not 3 different nations. They one nation. They came from one man. And people have separated them to divide and conquer them. Because if they ever found out that it was one nation, they instantly would take over. But these women is single because they reject God's laws. They living by the philosophies and lies of the so-called white man that to tell them that all the laws in the Bible is done away with. That's what is destroying them. Your heritage is done away with. There's no need for it. Nobody knows who their heritage is. All of the people that was in the Bible, they fell out and died, and some other people just came out of the ground or evolved from a monkey and came from some other place. These are the lies that they'll tell you, and our women will suck it up because they feel that wickedness is more pleasurable. Let's get that in John 3:19. It says in verse 19, it's saying, this is the condemnation, that light is coming to the world, meaning the law, and men love darkness the philosophies of the so-called white man. See, they love darkness rather than light because their deeds were evil. Verse 20, it say, for everyone that doeth evil hate the light. You can't tell them to keep God's law. You can't tell them to share a man. Neither come into the light, for his deeds shall be reproved. See, you being a whore in the streets, jumping from man to man, the number one person to divorce the man because he's not worshiping you and obeying you and doing what you want. See, being submissive to you. they hate the light. And that light is the law. Let's get that in Proverbs. I think it's right at the beginning of Proverbs. Okay. Talks about the path. And in verse, what is it? Verse 14 is talking about this the way that they're living is the way of the white man. It says, enter not into the path of the wicked. That's the nation of Edom, the so-called white man. Go not in the way of evil men. See, that's the way that they're walking. But verse 18, it says, but the path of the just is as the shining light. And the just mean those law-abiding, the lawful law keepers that shine more and more unto the perfect day. It say the way of the wicked is as darkness. See, that's the darkness. The way of the white man and the nation of Edom is as darkness. But they love darkness rather than light. They love not keeping God's laws. See, they love that. Let me get it in Psalms because I don't misplace that the one in Proverbs. Psalm 119, 105. It say, thy word, meaning the commands and his laws, is a lamp to my feet and a light unto my path. See, his law and his word is the light. And see, these women don't want to follow the laws of God. Let's get another one. Another law. Because see, that law will tell you straight up, if he want another wife, he got to be able to give her food, clothing also. Now, let's see here. Is it 2 wives? Let's see. If a man have 2 wives, one beloved and another hated, and they have borne him children, both the beloved and the hated, and if the firstborn son be hers that was hated, then it shall be when he makes his son to inherit that which he have, that he may not make the son of the beloved firstborn before the son of the hated, which is indeed the firstborn. So the firstborn must be given his inheritance, no matter if he love or hate the wife. And it's a law making sure this happened. But he got 2 women. He got 2 wives. Or whatever. How many he has. And so in the law it's clear. It's in multiple places. Jacob had 2 wives. Then they had maidens or slave girls that they gave to him as wives also. And so it's all through there. Abraham had 2 wives. It's just a tradition of the chosen, anointed people of God, of that bloodline, of that heritage that he's dealing with. And these individuals don't understand these things. And that's why they are being destroyed. They're living a life of pain and agony and stress and drama, because the lifestyle that they'll live. Imagine a lifestyle that Leah and Rachel was living when they was willing to give their slave girl from a whole nother nation to their husband to have relations with him and to get pregnant from him. What kind of lifestyle was these women living? Now, you can tell that they also had problems with each other, because one couldn't have children. She wasn't upset about, mind you, these sisters too. She wasn't upset about this man sleeping with her sister. That had nothing, that wasn't even on her mind. She cared less about that. What was on her mind was that she couldn't have children. She was barren and couldn't have children. Her sister is steady having children. What kind of lifestyle are they living? What kind of mentality do they have? They're not fighting over no, he's sleeping with my sister, or she's being loved by him more than he's been loved by me. It was none of that was involved. It was only that she wasn't having children. That's the whole thing. Then they gave another woman to the husband and say, marry her, sleep with her, have children with her. That's the mentality. But see, these devils took us into captivity, brought us over here in chains, and beat our heritage out of us. Even though it was a punishment by the Most High that this would happen to his nation when they disobeyed his law, they furthered the situation and separated the families. Well, not only do we have to live under them, but you're going to have to live under them and have destroyed families, where the women is ruling over some bad behind kids that don't have a disciplinary father. And then you got a big amount of women that's single and struggling and vulnerable for anything to happen to them. And a lot of them trying to go to the other nations and marry them, but the other nations' men don't want to bring them back home to their mama. If they got a relationship with their mama, they want them to come bring some strange woman from another nation to their mama and change the directory of their children and their family. Now the children coming out looking like other nations. People love their nation. They love how they look. They want to further their nation. That's why men get with multiple wives sometimes. If his first wife is not having children, he want to further his nation, his bloodline. And he get with another woman so he can have a child and further his bloodline. That's what happened with the Japanese and the Chinese, Moab and Ammon. They slept with their own father to further the bloodline, to keep their nation going. It was more about the nation than your feelings. But what these devils have deceived the peoples with is, especially our single women, worry about yourself. Don't care about no nation. See, forget the nation. Only worry about yourself and look out for yourself. And so this is the results of his teaching. That's why I say in Habakkuk, let's get that. Habakkuk 2 and 5. And Habakkuk, just read him his rights with one verse to let you know this is the people that we talking about. The person, the nation that we talking about. It say, Yeah, also because he transgressed by wine. See, this wine, this philosophy that he feeding the world, that women can do whatever they want to do and lead the household, is wickedness. Say he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlarges his desire as hell, and is as death. This man is as death. His people on the earth, that's like death, walking death. That's why he made them lose their pigment. He put the sign of Cain on, the mark of Cain on them, because they are walking death. And if you follow these people, follow their philosophy that all nations can come together. Look at it, say, but be gathered unto him all nations, and heap unto him all peoples. If you follow this philosophy that all nations gonna come together, and we don't care about what your nation did in the past and your heritage and your history. We forget all of that. Just focus on Christianity and loving us. That's all he wants you to focus on. Doing what we say. That's all you gotta do. Loving us and doing what we say, and forget your heritage and forget the laws of God. That's why these women are single. I'm gonna leave it there though. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rekakadash. Yahweh being the name of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shai being the name of his only begotten Son, who they ignorantly call Jesus Christ. Double honors to the elders pushing the truth. Peace to the elect worldwide. The blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, descendants of slaves scattered around the globe. Our kingdom is at hand. Shalom.